The Nintendo Switch isn't just getting up there in age, it's damn near starting to overstay its welcome. I can honestly say I can't recall the last time I've been this into a Nintendo Switch game. Make no mistake about it, I love this console and it's done wonderful things for the gaming industry, but we really need an upgrade. A lot of the more recent titles have been just performing poorly. I'll use Scarlet and Violet as an example. Never in a million years would I have expected Nintendo to release something that is just that glitch filled and felt unfinished. But we are at that point now where the ambitions of the developers cannot be implemented due to the limitations of the hardware. Enter Tears of the Kingdom. Guys, I have to say I've been hooked on this game. The few weeks that the game has been out, I've put in over 200 hours. And I know some of you guys are thinking, oh, that's it. But it's rare for me to devote that much time to one single game. Between making YouTube videos, I work full time, and have other family obligations, I'm stretched pretty thin. But this game just has me sucked in, unlike anything that I've felt in a very long time. Now, I've heard all of the complaints. I know that 80 to 90% of the assets are being reused from Breath of the Wild. I know the combat system is virtually identical. And I know that it pretty much uses the exact same map as Breath of the Wild. But if you listen to those small surface level complaints, you're missing the big picture. The map has been altered to the point where even if you've put in over 300 hours in Breath of the Wild, the topography has changed enough that Hyrule will still surprise you. On top of that, you have new areas to explore. There's a completely new map that's above the clouds, and you have this entire depths area that is the exact magnitude of surface level Hyrule. You're essentially getting 3 maps in one. To compare this map to Breath of the Wild is like trying to compare San Andreas from the PS2 game to San Andreas in Grand Theft Auto 5. On top of that, Hyrule has never looked better. My goodness. For this game being on a decade-old hardware, it just looks so beautiful. One thing that blows my mind is the kind of depth of field that you have when you're up there in the sky. Like, you can see for miles out. There are some games that are being made today on modern consoles that still have background pop in, and this game manages to have the smallest amount possible on the Nintendo Switch's old-ass hardware. Another thing that's absolutely brilliant is the return of caves. There are intricate cave systems all throughout Hyrule that you can easily spend hours exploring, and these areas are loaded with treasure, secrets, boss battles, and unique weapons to find. Another excellent revamp is the combat system. Well, not the system itself per se, but the way that you use weapons in this game. In Breath of the Wild, nothing was more frustrating than to find a pristine weapon, only to have it break a few minutes later. In Tears of the Kingdom with the new weapon fusion system, you're nowhere near as frustrated when something breaks, because at least early on in the game, you're going to constantly be in search of what new weapon fusion is going to make you the most optimal weapon for the situation that you're in. As the game goes on, you start to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and you'll constantly have your go-tos. But early in the playthrough, it's a whole nother aspect of exploration. Gives Tears of the Kingdom that much more depth. And the game doesn't just stop with weapon fusion. This next part is a little bit difficult to explain unless you've seen it, but you literally have full creative freedom for the world around you. You use these Zonai devices as well as other objects from the environment, and the sky is the limit. You can make vehicles, you can make autonomous weapons, you can create bridges, ladders. The possibilities are endless. And the game has been out long enough. I'm sure some of you guys have seen some of the crazy stuff that people have been creating. It really is unbelievable. And when it comes to problem solving and puzzle solving in the game, there's more than one way to go about it. Everyone is going to have their own way to solve a puzzle. It really is something that you have to experience for yourself to really appreciate it. One thing I will say is that this game is a little bit more combat heavy than Breath of the Wild. There's a variety of different bosses, some new creatures, and tons of different strategies on how to defeat them. Trust me when I say every experience will vary. Also, I feel like there's hardly any empty space in this game. Every area has something somewhere, and the game provides you this tremendous incentive to explore everything and look everywhere. Of my 200 plus hours I put into this game, the vast majority of it was spent simply exploring. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the Nintendo Switch at its absolute finest, and is a fantastic reminder of why we all fell in love with this console. Although I still feel we're in need of some new Nintendo hardware, this game really brings me back to 2017, back when the Switch was fresh and exciting. If you own a Nintendo Switch, you owe it to yourself to play this game, but I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir because I'm sure most of you guys know that. Anyway, I've been absolutely hooked on this game, and I just figured I needed to talk about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, this is Ness, signing out.